Hey folks, welcome to another edition of We Talk Photo. I am one of your hosts, John Peterson, and with me as always is Jack Graham.
Hi, John. Well, I got to remember to talk because this is
Yes,
on both audio and video. So I
yes, it
just
is on both, Jack. Yeah,
hi
which is
everybody, John.
fantastic.
It's good that you get to see me again. It's been a few days
I know it's been a whole like 3 or 4 days since we
and
last
few thousand
saw each other.
miles, few thousand miles.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. We'll kind of get into a little bit of what we've been up to, but folks, today Jack and I just wanted to come on and talk to y'all a little bit, share some of our thoughts and some of our experiences that we've had over the last couple of months, and also what to look forward to in the next few months. So, it's kind of a little bit of a catch up episode for all of you, our listeners, and thank you for continuing to listen to us and two old guys, somewhat old guys.
Yeah, I listen to some of these other podcasts, and a lot of them are really good podcasts. Um, I don't know. I mean, I think just everything seems so scripted. Like they have the questions written out, and everybody's so serious. I mean, it's good to be serious. I get that,
Yeah,
but
there's a level of professionalism that's needed, but
yeah, especially here.
yeah, yeah. I personally, I prefer more informal, more authentic types of things because, I think you touched on a point, Jack, that so much in our world is scripted and focus grouped, and everything is managed and curated so much that, spontaneity and authenticity, even with all the gaffes that happen, I mean, that's what it means to be human. I think so. I appreciate authentic and sometimes non-professional stuff.
Yeah, well, I just turned the ringer off my cell phone. Just
Thank you.
professional.
Yeah, I
I
should
get so
too.
many calls. I mean, I get so many calls from people wanting to register for workshops that that's unbelievable. So
Yeah, off the
I have to
hook.
turn it down. Anyhow,
Off the
thank you all
hook.
for being here. What are we going to talk about? Well, we just got back from Arizona. from
Yeah.
from the Four Corners area. We were up there. We spent some time in the Monument Valley area and the Canyon de Chelly area, which is southeast of Monument Valley. Um, I think we had a good trip. The weather cooperated. We had some drama due to the monsoonal moisture, and yeah, I mean we had a great group,
We
and
had a fantastic group. Yeah.
everybody seemed to have a good time, and
And
it's
what's funny, even though you're not watch for those not watching our video channels, Jack and I both have a desert background up, and Jack's got a clear sky shot, and I have a desert shot with clouds and drama. We
yeah.
were really fortunate to get some weather come through
Yeah,
to
that
give a
image
little
I have, if
interest.
you look at it, is 3 years old. We had
Yeah.
4 days of bald sky. And by the way, Joe Lahota, who was with us in last week, was also on that trip in 2019, and he really appreciated the drama. I know he did.
Yeah,
Joe, if you're listening,
it's
hi.
amazing. Even though, the quintessential desert shot is oftentimes clear, as photographers, we want a little drama in the sky. We want some definition up there because, trying to exclude a boring sky from a desert shot is a hard thing to do when you're looking at monuments that are several hundred feet tall.
Yeah.
So
Anyhow,
yeah, it
we had
was
a good trip. I put about 4,000 miles on my office on four wheels. And yeah, I mean, but it was worth it. It was a great trip. We'll probably get some images posted on our websites when we get done. I know John's trying to buy a car, and I'm trying to get caught up here before I leave again. And we're going to see each other again in California here in what, about 2 weeks or so, two,
Yeah, I think
three.
about 2 weeks. We'll
Yeah,
go do the Eastern Sierras, the fall color out there.
yeah. No, it was all good. And then after that, what's going on? Are you done or am I done?
No, I've got one more winter in the Tetons as
There you go.
always.
Yeah, I'm not doing that this year because of the move, but I have a group getting together here in the Smokies December 1st and 2nd, I think. If anybody's interested, let me know. But
Yeah,
I've got to be out in the Seattle area in November. and John will get to see me again 3 times in 3 months.
I know.
We're going to actually, we've both been down there before, but since we're going to run a workshop in Oregon for the ghost towns next August, we want to get some itinerary put together. So we're going to head back down to that John Day area, south of the Dalles, for a day and a half, probably, just to click on some places so we know where to take you all. That information is up on our websites already, the dates, everything you can register. So we're going to spend 2 days there, and then I've got to do a talk for the Northwest Council on Camera Clubs on Saturday, the 11th in Federal Way, south of Seattle. I'll get John to put that link up on the show notes if anybody's around, wants to hear me blabber for an hour in the morning, hour in the afternoon.
Hey, I was going to ask you on that NWCC conference, are they doing, is there remote attendance available?
They're going to record it, and I think if you're a member, you will be able to access it. And just think of being able to watch me talk anytime. God, if you ever
double for that.
They tell you on the things, like if you swallow, laundry detergent, something, they said induce vomiting. Well, if you watch me talk, it'll accomplish the same thing. Yeah. Anyhow, so that's on the 11th of November, and then that night I'll drive over to Whidbey Island. I have a 3-day event. I think there's 1 or 2 spots open. I'll be doing an abstract abstract. What am I doing?
You're just doing an abstract
workshop,
macro photography workshop.
And I've done this 2-3 times before, and it's a lot of fun. We go over to Fort Worden over in Port Townsend, and it's really a cool thing. You can check that out. I'll get John to put the notes up for that. I think there's 1 or 2 spots open. Whidbey Island is hour, a ferry ride and a little drive. It's a great little location. So if you're around in November looking for something to do for 3 days, price is right. I think there's 1 or 2 spots, so check that out too. And then I'm done pretty much for the year.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
yeah. After the Tetons, I'm going to be done for the year, and it'll be nice. Take a nice little break and reset for 24. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up in 24, which is great.
Yeah.
Jack, you touched on macro abstract, and each one of those could be a separate sort of topic unto itself. Yeah. But it's really kind of cool trying to combine those 2 themes together to do close-up abstract work.
There you go. I don't like the term macro. I need to change that when I do it again. Close-up is more the way I think of things. Macro implies that you need a macro lens, and a macro lens is a 1-to-1 lens, folks. It's not a 2-to-1 or a 3-to-1. A quote macro lens. If it's not a 1-to-1 lens, and some manufacturers sell a lens I call a macro lens, not a macro. It's a close-up lens. So you can do close-ups with a 24 millimeter lens too. So it's a lot of fun. And
you can do close-ups with a 400 if you wanted.
Yeah, it's great. So and it's it's a kind of again, I allude to music. A lot of people listen to guys playing pretty abstract jazz, and some people call it free jazz or whatever. It's really hard to do. And you think taking abstract images is easy? No, it's not. It really makes you think and see, and it's all good. So I'm looking really forward to doing that again I think this is a 3rd or 4th time there. So
yeah, that'll be great. Yeah. Well, that kind of leads me into a thought, Jack, that in order to do sort of abstracts and even close-up stuff, but really more abstracts, you kind of have to let yourself go, and respond to pattern, shapes, textures, and colors, and in ways, and put them together in ways that are pleasing to the eye.
We did that in Arizona on landscape, big time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I spent a half an hour with one of our attendees, and we photographed the shape of the light and the shadow on a red rock wall. We were just focused on shape and light, nothing more. There was no definable subject other than the light and the shadow, and it was such a fun experience. But that means you got to kind of let go of more logical thought, if you will. Uh,
Yeah,
I just wrote a blog post. I just finished it this morning and published it, which it's entitled "Don't Think," and it, and my premise for that was really, a lot of us get caught up in the technology and the technical aspects and the camera gear, and we're thinking about all of this stuff, and we're not focused that thinking energy on maybe more artistic elements, composition, visual perception, all of those types of things where if you have to think, apply it in those areas and not to your camera or technical aspects of photography. Some people like that, to be a thinking person's photographer, which is great, but maybe just think about other things other than gear. I mean, people want us to buy
you
gear.
know, again, I allude to music. When you play the piano or any other instrument, if you're playing piano, okay, and you're reading the music, and you, for example, have a cross hand coming up where you have to put your left hand over your right hand to hit some. I have to tell you, a pianist doesn't go, oh my God, on the fifth line, I've got a cross hand. They know that inherently, and they're not even thinking about it. They're thinking about how loud do I want to play this passage? How do I want to attack these notes? They're thinking creatively. And, way back when, probably 100 years ago, I wrote an article on my blog called Know Your Axe. And axe in jazz terms is your instrument. So if you walk up, say, hey, man, what's your axe? What do you play? You have to know how your camera functions, know where all the buttons are, know where your compensation dial is, know where everything is, so you can do that without even thinking about it. You just react, and you can put your mind and put your brain into seeing and the creative, and the photography. It's really, really important to do that.
It is
I would
for
say
sure.
that and slowing down. This is important to slow down today.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. And it's too often we get caught up in the technical aspects, and I'm still on this bandwagon to try to break through that with some people and shoot more from the heart, shoot emotively, shoot with intuition. I still get asked the question a lot, Jack, about how do I find my vision? Which is it's a loaded question anyway, but
It'll find you.
it'll find you. But one of the first ways to do that is to let go of your thinking.
Yeah.
Stop thinking technologically and start feeling emotionally and trying to capture that in your photography. That will be your vision.
How about thinking about how about not thinking about, boy, the people who are going to see this picture, I want them to be impressed. I want them to say, man, you look at that shot. Forget that. Stop thinking about pleasing other people. I think that's the whole topic. I think we've gotten into that on other podcasts, and we'll continue to get into that because it's really important. But
Well, just one point on that, Jack. Even though I've gotten into a couple of discussions with folks over the past couple of months on that, and we say oftentimes that we don't shoot for other people. That's what everybody says. I don't shoot for other
human
people.
nature to
I
do it.
shoot for myself. But you know what? The fact is, we share our images, and the
Hmm?
fact is, as humans, to your point, we want positive recognition. It's a biological, psychological fact that's in us. So I don't want to deny that. And then adding further to that, in 5 years from now, when I look back on my pictures, I'm like a brand new viewer, right? All the emotional attachment is gone, and I'm looking at these images with a fresh eye, and I want to be enthralled. I want to be pleased. I want to be in awe. I want to feel the emotion. So even if I don't shoot for other people, I'm shooting for my future self, my future enjoyment. So,
Yeah.
I'm always
I hear
thinking.
you. I hear you. When I look at my images from 5 years ago, I just kind of remember where I was and who I was with and what the weather was and what kind of day it was. I remember that stuff, and it's important. Um, I mean, I like everybody to like what I do, I guess, but I frankly, if they
It's
don't,
not
that's
why.
okay too.
Yeah.
And I went back yesterday and looked at images from where we were, and like 6, 7 other visits there over the years. And I'm gonna do an ebook just on rocks and on the walls. I've got hundreds of images of the designs of the light and the angles and all the stuff that these walls are just amazing. I'm going to do that, and I'll remember where I was. I'll remember. I hope everybody likes it, and everything. But I think there's a lot of things you're correct about. We need to quit thinking so heavily about things and just work on being creative. It's
I mean, that's it.
and
But
having a good time and enjoying what you're doing. I mean, that's what
having a good
it's
time,
for.
you bet. Because to you've said this numerous times, is that the images are a byproduct of what we do and where our pleasure comes from. It's really the experiences and the people. And yes, we come home with some nice images, but in the long run, that's not necessarily what matters. It's the experiences.
Yeah, I walked up to a few people that were with us, and they were making some good photographs. And my question was, why are you making this photograph? Not what's the subject or what are you trying to do? What is it that stimulates you about that? And nobody said, well, I don't know. They all had a good answer. And if you say I don't know, then you ought to be back in the car taking a nap. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah, very,
yeah.
very
So
true.
there you go.
So,
So we could beat this horse to death, but I think you all get where we're going with
oh
this.
yeah, oh yeah. But just one final point. It just sort of all of this sort of wraps up into this kind of overarching concept that I keep going back to. Is that are you an artist or a photographer? Pick a lane, and both lanes are. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I mean, if you just want to be a photographer and a camera owner, that's great and that's fine. If you want to be an artist, then you have to move past the technology and the thinking process and focus on that creativity side of things.
And if you really want to learn how to do that, the only ways to learn that, if you don't live in the Seattle area, if I notice somebody from Denmark listens to this podcast, and thank you, by the way, it's an honor. You can fly from Copenhagen direct into Seattle, and I will be giving away the secrets to that on November 11th. I
uh,
can't even do it with a straight face. For
no, that's
you
funny.
watching this on video, sorry.
That's funny. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. But it's a process. And you know what? It's a lot of fun, man. I've been doing this a long time, and man, I had such a good time in Arizona watching people. It is so cool to take that area down there is so different from the rest of the planet, literally. And to take people there to see this for the first time and see the looks on their faces, man, to me, that's worth everything. It was
It
so cool
is.
to be able to do that. And, you know, um, John, do you remember? I can't remember what day it was. I think it rained in the middle of the afternoon. It looked like it was
Mm-hmm.
going to be a crappy sunset. And, we decided that, well, we better go because if we're sitting in our room looking out at this, we're going to not be happy. We got down there, it looked like nothing. And all of a sudden, the light exploded for about 10 minutes. We got the shadow of the left mitten on the center mitten. The background, I processed that image yesterday, man. Oh, it was unbelievable.
For those that are looking on or watching on YouTube, it's this image here behind me
Yeah.
from that night.
Yeah, but I think it was either it might have been before that, John, when the mountains in the background lit up, that
There
one
was a
bird only
spotlight on
went.
the far distant
Oh,
mountains. Yeah, I mean that was magical.
yeah, like 10 seconds, but it was
Yeah,
just awesome.
yeah.
Awesome.
But to your to credit to your wife, the great saying of "you won't know if you don't go."
If you don't go, you
It
don't
didn't
know.
look good, but boy, we went and we were rewarded with some very, very unique images.
Yeah. I think that's my next t-shirt. If you don't go, if you don't,
Go, you don't know.
man, it's noon. If you don't go, you don't know.
Yeah.
Anyhow, folks, if there's any questions or ideas or stuff that just shoot us an email. We'll be happy to help you out.
And,
If
and again, folks, we're still looking for images to do online image reviews as part of our podcast. So please feel free to send them we talk photo at
man, I did image
gmail.com.
reviews yesterday for myself.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I, you know, when I edit, I think I probably had, I don't know, maybe I had 100 images to edit. And unless there's something special, I don't even process them right away. I just kind of get rid of the crap right away.
Hmm.
And, someday we ought to do an edit and let people see how we edit. Because
Oh,
I think
yeah.
they'd be amazed. Folks, not every image we take is an image that is behind John there. There are some dogs, just like everybody else. Any other workshop leader tells you that they're the second coming of the greatest photographer in the world, they're lying to you. No.
Everybody's got bad shots.
Yeah.
Everybody,
So,
even Art Wolf.
well, I guess, Art, I love you. I would never say anything bad about you. And how John could
What
say it, I have no idea.
the
But
the difference
man,
is the number of bad shots versus the number of good
consistency,
shots.
consistency. That's all it
Yes,
is.
consistency.
And
Yep.
that's because we do it often. And, so other folks have lives, as I say. They have families and they have jobs and they have things they got to deal with and they can't get out as much. They just can't do it. Luckily, we do. And it's like anything else. You got to put in the time and the effort. And so, well, art is a function of time. That's
Yes.
simple.
Yep. 10,000 hours.
Anyhow, for those of you who are still here, there must be one or two. Thank you. And if you have anything to say, we love to hear from you. It's we talk photo at gmail.com. I'll get Don Juan here to put up some show notes. John's in the middle of buying a car. That's why he's so happy these days.
I'm replacing a car, replacing a
Replacing a
wrecked
car.
car, and it's a
Yep.
process.
Yep.
So,
Yep. And I'm in the middle of replacing part of a deck that a flatbed rolled down the hill from the guy in back of me into. So wonderful thing.
life goes
But,
on.
thank you all for being here. John, any last words for the?
Nope, nope, not a bit. It's been a joy talking to you and talking to everybody out there. And Jack, will see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, and look at our schedule for next year. We both have some things together by ourselves, whatever. And we'd love to see you and come be with us. It would be our honor to have you here. Thank
Yep.
you.
All right. Take care, folks. Bye bye.
Bye bye.